Last year, 7:30 reported on a mystery virus affecting horses across the state. It turned out to be a mosquito-borne disease known as Kunjun. Now, with Adelaide Cup almost upon us, the vet who first alerted authorities to the outbreak believes she's detected the signs of Kunjun's re-emergence. It is the big day out for horses. And even if the country's favourite Neddy, Black Caviar, isn't there, Adelaide Cup is still one of the state's preeminent events.
Sweeper a half-head lady overcare.
But in another part of town, another race is on, one that could mean life or death for some horses.
She's a bit slow on her refill.
Yeah. Dr Liz Herbert runs a specialist equine veterinary clinic on Adelaide's northern fringes. Last year, 7:30 South Australia reported on a spate of horses that turned up at her clinic showing bizarre neurological signs. Liz Herbert had never seen anything like it before.
Some of them don't want to put their head down. It's like they have a headache. Their lips continually move. When they get to the stage where they're laying down, I'm thinking I'm not going to win, and it's not a lot of fun.
It was Kunjun virus, a member of the flavivirus family, which includes West Nile and Murray Valley encephalitis. It's transmitted by mosquitoes to both horses and humans, though unlike Hendra virus, there's no recorded transmission between humans and horses. Last year, in quick succession, 7 horses died. At the time, that was more horses than had been killed in a concurrent outbreak of Hendra. Winter then cooled the spread of mosquitoes and Kunjun, but Liz Herbert always worried when summer returned, so would Kunjun. And last weekend, she thinks it did.
Oh yeah, I think that weekend we had 3 cases that presented as neurological. I mean, there was kind of a spectrum. I mean, 2 of them had fevers, mine didn't, but 3 neurological cases in a weekend is pretty suspicious that we've got the virus back.
So I've called the vet, got the vet out, and we've made him walk, and he was all wobbly in his hind legs, a bit discoordinated, just very abnormal. And he was trying to eat, and he couldn't coordinate his mouth properly to eat the lucerne, so very worrying.
One of those horses was this 4-year-old bay gelding named Dylan.
Good boy. All right, buddy. Good boy.
This horse is Angela Donaldson's pride and joy, but a lot more rides on him than just that. Dylan's good health and Angela Donaldson's plans to be a front-ranked dressage competitor are inseparable.
And he's got a very bright future in that, so to see him not well is not very nice. He's my future in the sport as well. He's my up-and-coming horse behind my older horse.
Dylan has virtually recovered, which Liz Herbert puts down to both youth and fitness. What's not clear is whether he and the other horses definitely had Kunjun. A flock of sentinel chickens kept in the state's north, like canaries in a coal mine, have recently turned positive for Kunjun. Biosecurity South Australia says if Liz Herbert is worried, then it's worried.
If we're seeing some clinical cases of what appears to be Kunjun, then yes, we'd like to get some laboratory samples to confirm that diagnosis.
While what's happening right now may be uncertain, a more certain picture has emerged about last year's outbreak. After the first deaths, Biosecurity SA collected blood samples from horses across the state, 1,000 of them, in the largest exercise of its type ever attempted by the organisation. Those results were released today. They show the virus was most prevalent in the northern pastoral and upper Murray regions and less prevalent in the southeast and the west. But curiously, the areas with the greatest concentrations of horses, Adelaide and its surrounds, show low rates of infection, and that's concerning.
Well, it's quite possible that the value horses around the Adelaide areas have not been exposed to the virus, so it would be naive.
And that means they're vulnerable, doesn't it?
That does mean that they're vulnerable, yes.
60% of horses in the state haven't been exposed and therefore have no immunity. The good news is most horses exposed to the virus don't get sick. The study also shows, according to CSIRO vet Dr Lorna Melville, that the virus was new to South Australia. Kunjun is common in the Northern Territory where Lorna Melville works, but it's a variety that doesn't make horses sick. She came to Adelaide last year to advise on the outbreak here, and she says it's clearly a mutated version.
The small change in the structure of the virus has made it more likely to cause a significant disease in horses. Just in horses so far in Australia. Obviously in North America they had changes in the virus which also made it more pathogenic for birds and also for humans, different changes. Unfortunately that hasn't happened so far with the virus here. The change has only been in the area that made it more pathogenic for horses. Otherwise, unfortunately, we'd probably start to see a lot more human disease as well.
Whether that will happen or not, no one can say. It does underscore the importance, she says, of getting a vaccine for use in South Australia. And last year, the great hope was that a vaccine used in the US against the similar West Nile virus would be approved in Australia for Kunjun. So far, that hasn't happened, and it won't, Biosecurity South Australia says, for at least another 10 months. It's the one thing that horse owners want most.
If it can be approved, we need it approved.
The vaccine would be fantastic because it would take a little bit of the worry away if you know there's a vaccine for it.